Men,
Få lov til at klappe. Take 2.
2, 3. Hi, my name is Jens Peter Kurb. I'm the game director in Kane Lynch, Hitman, and today we'll be taking a small tour of our floor at IO Interactive and talking about story of the game, not as much the content of the story, but more like the development process of it and how we've come along with having these two guys at this point. Kane Lynch isn't our first game. We've done a handful of Hitman games, and we've taken a lot of the grittiness from there and make it a little bit more mature and a little bit more real, if that's a proper word for it. One of the things that became quite apparent quite quickly was that we had a fairly gritty game on our hands. Like it was a crime game. It was quite brutal. And one of the things we've been doing with Kane Lynch is to try and have more reason for the action. Like we play the level, we do the things because Kane Lynch have to.
I don't have to listen to your shit.
So even though we strive to make everything in the game matter to Kane Lynch, historically we also always been a company that does scenario-based game design, which means that we really want this location, let's try and see if we can mold it. So a lot of our inspiration for the story is also that we say we would really like this bust out, we would really like this bank robbery, and if we could get out in this kind of violence. Like these are very, very early inspirational stuff that's very nice for when you work with a story to say this is where we would like to go. It also gives a very good indication of what people on the team likes to work with.
Just keep it cool.
Having young guys, like if you look at this guy, like that's exactly what we don't want. Like he's way too pretty, he's perfect in shape, he's not at the end of the rope, right? He's not kind of like the guy behind. This is more the atmosphere that we've been looking for. Gritty characters that kind of fitted in the storyline we were looking for. When we started Kane Lynch, we had a little bit of a game before that, and Kane was kind of the star of it. And it was a single-player story thing that was going along, but Lynch was there as a bystander, almost a sidekick, and he just kept popping into the story. Whenever we did a scenario, it was like, oh, it would be nice to have Lynch here, and why don't we use Lynch to bounce back on a dialogue or something like that. And then at one point it became quite apparent that the whole thing evolved around a kind of a body movie genre.
Stop bitching. We still got a long night ahead of us.
Bitching? I'm not bitching. I just hate being ignored.
It's not a game where you have to sit and, listen to story, play a difficult gameplay or anything. I think we've hit a pretty nice mix of giving you some background info, giving you some character, giving you some reason to not like these guys. I don't like them. I might approve of Lynch, definitely dislike Kane, but I still care about him. That's kind of been our approach too. You don't really have to have characters that you can relate to completely. Just look at Scarface or Unforgiving, anything like that. Like they're bastards, but I still care about them a little bit. And that's kind of the path that we're taking with Kane Lynch. Like Kane Lynch is essentially a story about two fairly normal men that ruin their lives. And they ruined it so badly that they can't really come back to it again. So they lost their connection with their old life, and they're trying to fix it so much. Like really trying to fix the troubles, but the harder they try, the worse they make it. And they're both in a situation where they always fail.